Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the video. If you're new here, hi, my name's Louise, and if you're returning, welcome back. In today's video, I thought I'd share with you a nice, cozy, warm day at the start of winter. So make yourself a nice warm cup of tea, sit back, relax, and let's get cozy together on this cold winter's day. Winter kind of crept up on us out of nowhere this year. We were having beautiful, nice, warm days all the way up until about the start of June, maybe the end of May. And then all of a sudden, these freezing cold winds came through and winter was upon us. The sun has been shining and there's only been like a little bit of wind, but the wind is chilly. It's the Arctic ice coming off from the south and blowing up here, and the snow is definitely falling in the Australian Alps. We can feel it. It is freezing. So when the weather gets really cold and icy like this, I want to do nothing more than snuggle up in my cozy clothes, make myself something nice and warm and toasty to eat, and just try and stay as warm as possible inside. I don't know if you can tell, but I am still recovering from that chest infection, and one of the medications that I have to take is a steroid, and hopefully that is helping with repairing my lungs and getting them back to where they need to be. But it has taken a toll on my body. I can definitely feel like my muscles and tendons get sore more quickly, and my stamina is not where it needs to be in order for me to dance a full show. But it's a gradual process that's slowly getting better and better as the days go by. I don't often have crumpets and jam for breakfast. It's more of a special treat, but my goodness, it tastes so good. And the jam that I had on my crumpets was actually homemade by my brother-in-law. So thank you so much for the beautiful jam. I don't know about you, and comment down below if you're the same, but I find that it's really hard to relax if there's chores or little jobs around the house that need to do, or if the house is a little bit messy. I definitely feel more relaxed and chilled out, and like I can take some time for myself if everything in the house gets done first. So that's what I did on this day. I made sure that everything was nice and clean and tidy and put away before I started to relax. I'm actually really proud of myself because I have gotten on top of doing the dishes. I know that sounds like a weird thing to be proud of, but as someone living with ADHD, it is quite difficult to stay organized and stay clean. But I've found that if I do the dishes at night, or I do the dishes as I'm cooking dinner, then there's a lot less dishes to get through, and the task of doing the dishes seems a lot less overwhelming. So really happy that I've sort of figured that out, and I've found it to be much more manageable now. I still like to use it as a time to meditate and center myself. I still think that's a really good sort of thing to do while I'm doing the dishes, is just to take some time, slow my crazy thinking brain down, and just focus on the task at hand. Because it's been so cold recently, my hubby and I are now using 2 blankets on the bed. We did actually end up using 2 blankets on the bed last year as well, because it was a little bit chilly towards the end of winter, but we've already broken out both blankets. It's absolutely incredible how cold our bedroom gets, and we do have a heater inside the bedroom to try and take the chill out of the air, but sometimes you just wake up and it's so freezing, so it's so good to have the 2 blankets there just in case. The blanket on the bottom is our summer blanket, and the blanket on the top is the warm, cozy, fluffy, voluminous winter blanket, which I absolutely love. It feels like you're sleeping on a cloud. It's that fluffy. I've been working late nights recently, and I can't tell you how nice it's been to come home to a beautifully made bed. It really makes the world of difference and just puts a smile on my face when I walk through the door. I've finally been able to wear some of the thrifted items that I bought a few months ago out and about, and I am in love. I absolutely adore some of the outfits that I've put together with these items. When I wear this outfit, for example, I feel so sophisticated, like I'm walking out on the town, exploring my local area, or like I could be someone walking through the streets of Paris or Rome or some other type of foreign country. That's just the vibe I get with this outfit. I particularly like wearing this outfit on my days off when I can go out exploring or shopping. I just think it's really cute and it suits the winter vibe really well. I had to go out and do a little bit of grocery shopping, and so that is the reason why I put my little cute outfit on, and then I took a little bit of a nice stroll down by the water. As you can see, there are still some people who enjoy a little bit of a swim and a surf. It's alright if you have your wetsuit on, but I can't believe that man went out in just his budgie smuggler. But I mean, I can't blame them because the weather is absolutely gorgeous and the sea looks so inviting. Once I got home, I immediately put all of my things away. I think it's a really good habit to have, especially if you are someone who lives with ADHD. If you set up these really good habits, then it actually makes life a lot easier. I know it can be hard to follow, but it's just something that, I don't know, has really helped me in the past. I got these items from the shops. The splits was a little bit of a treat because we ran out of ice cream, and the salmon and the dill were for lunch today. I was inspired by the fancy outfit and decided to make some salmon, cream cheese, dill and cucumber sandwiches. After being sick for 2 weeks and not being able to tolerate a lot of different foods with strong flavors, it's been really nice to get back into eating delicious and interesting meals. For me personally, I think that novelty is something that is really important in my life. If I do something that's different every day, then my brain doesn't get bored or distracted or lose focus. Most of the novelty does come into play when I am cooking and making food. I do like to explore and make new sorts of dishes. I'm always on the phone looking up recipes and things that I can do and make that we haven't tried before, and I think my husband really appreciates it. He doesn't really have any strong opinions about what we should eat for breakfast, lunch or dinner, and I seem to always be thinking about it, but I think that's because I am using that task in the day to create and explore and find new and interesting things to do to help stimulate my brain. I do enjoy sitting out on the balcony and having my lunch or dinner when I can, but unfortunately I think the days are going to be getting too cold to be able to enjoy it. Luckily on this day I had made myself a green tea with jasmine to keep me warm while I ate my sandwich. After lunch, it was time to get stuck into some work that I had been putting off. I recently purchased a new hard drive, and so I had to organize some of the files from my old hard drive onto the new hard drive and sort of go through and see what I need to keep and what I didn't need to keep. I also updated my Notion as well with my daily tasks and my weekly schedule, and also wrote down a few ideas for some YouTube videos. It was fun going through the old hard drive because I actually discovered some old videos that I had shot in high school, some old movies that I had made with my friends, which just made me laugh and smile. It was so nice to look back on them and reminisce, just the memories coming back from that time. It was so good. After finishing all the computer work that I needed to do, I headed out again to the shops just to pick up a few more goodies and things for the house and for myself. Upon getting home, I immediately headed to the cupboard to put all of my things away because I knew I wasn't going to be heading out at all for the rest of the day, that I was going to be staying home. So again, just trying to get into that routine of putting things back where they belong as soon as I get home, to make sure that all the messiness inside my brain doesn't become physical and spread out into my environment. Wanted to share with you a few things that I got from the shops. The first thing was this quilt cover set in this light blue color. It looked really cute and I wanted to try and use it for winter. Then I picked up 6 of these super chunky acrylic yarn balls to make a little blanket. I picked up these white sneakers for a new show that I'm doing at the park. I also picked up these new hypoallergenic pillows because my pillow's on the way out, and I picked up some nice loungewear from Uniqlo, which I was super excited to put on. I looked at this book and thought it would be really interesting to read, so I grabbed that. I also visited the Asian supermarket and picked up this rose tea and some mochi. I changed into my loungewear straight away after putting everything in its right place, and then I got started on making the blanket. I actually saw another YouTuber called Darling Desi make this chunky blanket, and she was the one who inspired me to make my own. So I will link that video in the cards just in case you want to have a look and see what the end product looks like. I would recommend that you get a more chunky yarn than the yarn that I have here, because the chunkier the yarn, the less yarn you have to use. I found that 6 balls of yarn wasn't big enough to make the blanket the size that I wanted, so I've actually had to go back and get another 6 balls so that way I can finish the project off. But I can't wait to show you once it's finished. It was a lovely activity to do in the afternoon, just to pop on some movies and get my hands busy at the same time, making something that I could use in the future on many chilly nights to come. Having run out of yarn on the blanket, I did have some home sewing projects that I needed to do, so I decided as the movie was finishing that I would complete those projects. I used to work in the uniform and wardrobe department at the park, and my sewing skills are mediocre at best. I can patch things up if there's an emergency, but I'm not able to tailor things or make costumes or anything like that. I have very basic knowledge of how to use an overlocker and a sewing machine, but I think I do my best work with my hands. In this first project, I am replacing the buttons on one of the shirts that I thrifted. They had these little pearlized buttons that were looking a little bit sad, so I wanted to replace them, and now it looks beautiful and new, like I just bought it from the store. On a few of the other items, there had been little straps that had come off, or a button was missing, or I had accidentally torn it somehow and needed to patch up a hole. Doing all of that arts and craft and sewing really worked up an appetite, so I decided to make a delicious carbonara pasta for dinner. This was a new recipe that I had tried a few nights before when I made creamy prawn pasta. It was absolutely amazing and delicious, and I cannot recommend it enough. If you're someone who likes prawns, then make sure that you follow the recipe that I linked down below. But if you're someone who doesn't, then try it with bacon and mushrooms, and then if you don't like that, then maybe just try making the sauce by itself and having it with pasta. It is so rich and delicious, you will not regret trying out this recipe. There's something about the cold weather that makes me want to eat really rich, creamy, decadent foods. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe my body's subconsciously trying to make me put on more fat so I'm more insulated so I don't get as cold. I don't know, that's my theory. If you have a theory, make sure you leave it down in the comments below. But there's nothing like a delicious soup or a nice hot pasta or a curry, something that's really rich and filling on a nice cold night. It's just divine. The mushroom mix that I used for this carbonara is just the risotto mix that you can get from Woolies. It includes black fungi, shiitake mushrooms and shimeji mushrooms. Once the bacon is cooked to the level that you are happy with, then you remove it from the pan and start cooking your mushrooms. I used garlic and herb spread to cook the mushrooms, and I only had them in the fry pan for maybe 2 minutes at most. I didn't want to overcook them. You can choose to clean the pan after you cook the bacon and the mushrooms, or you can just take them out and leave the juices in the pan, which is what I decided to do. I just added a little bit more of the garlic butter, and then when I made the sauce, all the bacon juices and the flavor of the mushroom infused with the sauce. This first ingredient I'm adding here is just a bit of white wine, and then I'm going to let that reduce while I add the chicken stock. Lucky for me, cooking is an art than it is a science, like baking is. I feel like when you are cooking, you can experiment a little bit more, add a little bit more of a certain ingredient, or maybe skip another ingredient, whereas in baking, if you do that, you might end up ruining your whole recipe. So I did do a little bit of experimenting here, and I'm glad I did, because I feel like I improved on the recipe from when I made it earlier on in the week. The only thing I tweaked was that I added a little bit more extra cream than what the recipe called for, which just made the sauce a little bit more thicker than what it was when I tried it earlier on in the week. It was still just as tasty, just as delicious, just as creamy, and just as rich. All I did to thicken the sauce was just let everything reduce for a few minutes. I didn't add any flour or anything like that. It's just purely all the ingredients that have evaporated and left this beautiful creamy sauce in the pan. If I was making this for myself, I'd also add the mushrooms at this stage. However, my husband was also going to eat it and he doesn't like mushrooms, so I left them out until the end. I also made us some delicious fresh bruschetta with just some tomatoes and some chopped up onion, mixed them around with a little bit of oil, and then added a little bit of balsamic vinegar on the top. It was nice and fresh and an excellent complement to this very rich dish. I think the way you plate up your food is also a very important part of enjoying your meal. If it looks really well presented, I feel like your appetite grows. But not only that, you really enjoy the flavors and the dish itself. It becomes more of an event rather than just shoving food in your mouth. It's all part of that sort of mindful eating idea, that you're really taking the time to acknowledge the food that you've made, what it is you're eating, all the flavors, and really appreciating what you have and what you've been able to make for yourself. I garnished the dish with a little bit of dried parsley, and then I served it with a delicious lemon cordial. I would serve it with a glass of white wine, but unfortunately I had to work the next day, so I didn't want to drink. And with that, it was time to sit down in front of the TV and enjoy a meal together. We like to watch a little bit of TV while we do that and just take some time to reflect on the day, have a little bit of a chat about what happened, what was good, what wasn't so good, what we want to do differently in the future. Just a nice time to sit down and reflect on the day's events. The meal was everything we needed it to be. It warmed us up after the cold winter day that we had. It was the perfect ending to a very chilly but cozy day. And that brings us to the end of the video. I want to thank you so much for sticking around and watching to the end. I really hope you enjoyed it and that you found it to be cozy, warm and comforting. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. I do read them and I do reply to them, and they do make me very, very happy when I see them. So thank you, and please keep them coming. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like this video if you liked it. And I will see you in the next one. Peace out.